Well, I first got into wrestling when I was a child. It's one of my earliest memories. Growing up with my granddad, I would have been maybe around 3 or 4, and I remember watching that on World of Sport. So it was kind of something that always captivated me, like from a young age. I kind of never grew out of it. Came on Sky. It came to kind of being about 10 years old, and the decision between going to football training or watching Challenge on Saturday morning was it was an easy choice. That's what I was doing. I was watching wrestling, so it was something that kind of stayed with me over and over throughout my youth. And when I was 18, I decided that there was nothing else I wanted to do except wrestling. So I found an advertisement for a wrestling school in England called Hammerlock Wrestling. And when I was 18, I went over and started training with them. As a kid, I would have been a huge Shawn Michaels fan. Well, it would have been Ultimate Warrior first, then maybe Shawn Michaels would have came along. With regards influencing me, I would say when I was maybe 16 and I seen X-Pac was doing so well. And I know a lot of people said he had X-Pac heat, but to me that was the most beautiful thing that he had, you know. It was like everyone just hated him. And when I seen him, someone like in at the time in a big man's business that was, you know, X-Pac's still a big fella, but he was, you know, the closest kind of guy on TV that was to my size, that he kind of, seeing him like coming down the ramp on Raw kind of made me realise, God, like maybe I do have a little shot at doing that. When I was 18, as I said, when I started, I was literally just doing it for the love, and I was wrestling just for the love. And I got some lucky breaks. When I was 24, I went to America just for the love of wrestling, just to learn American style wrestling. And there I got an opportunity to train with a Japanese dojo in Los Angeles, and that was again just for the love of wrestling. And I'd been training with them for about 3 months, and I got an opportunity to go and train in Tokyo. And again, it was an internship, so I was paid like a little, but it was really just, you know, to go for the experience and like to learn a different style. And that's all I was doing it for. I wasn't doing it for money, or I wasn't doing it for you know, fame or stardom or ego. I was just like doing it because I love doing it, and that's really why I still do it now, you know. And hopefully that won't change. Hopefully it won't become, you know, doing it just for the money. Wrestling, like, I think wrestling's a universal language, and you know, you don't really have to kind of explain yourself to another wrestler about what's happening. You should kind of, you know, automatically have a feel for what's going on, and especially at that level. In New Japan, the level was so high that everyone kind of knew exactly what was going on. There wasn't a need for words to be exchanged in most cases. The one thing I would say to all up-and-coming Irish wrestlers would, don't be shy or afraid to travel. There's only so much you can learn in one place of one person. And if it involves being in Cork travelling to Dublin, or if it involves being in Dublin travelling to Cork, or going over to, you know, different seminars in the UK, there's a lot of different seminars you can use to try and, you know, increase your knowledge of the business and increase your experience. So don't kind of limit yourself or kind of, you know, set up shop and try to be the big fish in a small pond. Definitely try and, you know, crush that ego and go out and be told, no, hang on, you're doing this wrong, and, you know, maybe you could improve that. As I said, I was in England for 6-7 years and wrestling over here as well. And my second match in America, someone pulled me up on something that is essentially a fundamental of wrestling, and he pulled me up and he said, listen, I think you could do that a lot better. And I'm sure maybe in the future, like when you know, when the wheels fall off and I kind of stop wrestling, you know, I'll be able to look back and see, geez, like I had a really good time. But for the moment, I'm just kind of looking forward to what I'm doing in the future, as opposed to kind of enjoying the view as I'm traveling. I try not to look too far into the future, but you know, I've had a good run the last couple of years. If I can keep that momentum going forward, hopefully still involved in the wrestling business. Going on 33 this month, so. If I can get another maybe 10 years out of it, I'll be happy, and then, you know, maybe retire back to a little cottage in Bray somewhere and disappear off into the sunset.